Premier League fans, hope you're having a really good day. In this video, we'll be going over Matchweek 36 using our cutting edge match simulator to help us predict the scores, win probabilities, and goal scoring options for each one of this weekend's games. I'm Oscar Moneyball, and our first match this weekend is Luton Town versus Everton. Let's transition over. And we're good. Luton Town at home versus Everton. Luton Town that has to take some points from this. Expected goals between both of them is tied at 1.4 goals for both of them. Win probability is very even, so this should be a really entertaining game, especially when we're talking about English Premier Football and relegation down the road. In just a couple of weeks, Luton Town need the points if they want to at least put some pressure on the teams that are a little bit higher up on the table. Everton is, I believe, in a comfortable spot, so they will probably just wait out to see. Wait out to see how Luton Town reacts and maybe play the transition game with counters. Win probability is 38% for Luton Town, 36% for Everton. Over 0.5 goals for Luton Town is 75% and 73% for Everton to score. The over 1.5 goals is 41% versus 39%. Keep in mind, this is, Luton Town are fighting to not get relegated, so this match simulator does not take that into account. It's pretty much their home form versus Everton's away form, and I expect this to be a high-scoring game, as these matches tend to be. Match 2, Arsenal continues their run towards the title, receiving Bournemouth, a really tough Bournemouth squad. However, Arsenal do have the capacity and the depth to take this game, as they are also the favorites to win. No surprise there. Expected goals for Arsenal is 2.5 versus 0.9 for Bournemouth. 68% win percentage for Arsenal and 11 for Bournemouth. Not the favorites at all. The over 0.5 goals for Arsenal is at a really high 87% and 56% for Bournemouth. Bournemouth should feel comfortable. I'm sure they could accept the defeat and do their best to at least put up a fight. They'll probably try to contain Arsenal from scoring more than 2 if that's what they're playing for, and take them to a draw. That'd be the best case scenario for Bournemouth, to be quite honest with you. However, we did see Arsenal lose at home versus Aston Villa just a couple of weeks ago, so anything could happen. I'm not saying Bournemouth has the capacity, but it is soccer. The over 1.5 for Arsenal is pretty high, 67% versus Bournemouth's 21% to score over 1.5 goals in this match. And we move on. Match 3, Brentford versus Fulham. A Brentford squad that has been in a roller coaster of a form lately. Thomas Frank has not been able to get consistency from his squad in terms of taking a couple of W's. It's mostly been ties, and yeah, they'll take a couple W's, but the consistency is not there, as they lost last weekend. Brentford expected goals at home 1.9 versus Fulham's 1.4. Win probability for Brentford is 48% versus 11% for Fulham. The over 0.5 goals is at a decent and really high 83% for Brentford and 73% for Fulham. The over 1.5 is 55% for Brentford and 39% for Fulham. This could be a both teams to score game here, as both teams have the quality up top to score and defend really well. This will be an entertaining game, I believe. Moving forward, we have Burnley versus Newcastle United, a Burnley squad that again has to fight tooth and nail. They're right on the edge, putting some pressure up on I believe they're bottom 3. A Newcastle squad that demolished Sheffield United last year and secured Sheffield's relegation. Not hopefully, it's always bad to see a team get relegated, but it would be, I don't know what's the right word to say it. Newcastle back-to-back relegating 2 teams is not an easy endeavor, but it is a sport they have to compete. 1.3 expected goals for Burnley, 1.9 for Newcastle. Newcastle are the favorites to win with 48% versus 28% for Burnley. The over 0.5 goals for Burnley is 71% versus Newcastle's 81%. The over 1.5 goals is 36% for Burnley and 53% for Newcastle. Burnley will have to defend this game really well. They were able to do pretty good against Manchester United last weekend. Newcastle, it's about similar strength, and they are not at home, so could be a task that Burnley can pull away and maybe walk away with the point. Match 5, we have Sheffield United, a relegated Sheffield squad versus Nottingham Forest, who's also fighting to not get relegated. This is the beauty of the English Premier League. Sheffield United, 1.2 expected goals versus Nottingham Forest, 2.0. Nottingham Forest are the favorites to win here, 53%. Win probability versus Sheffield's 23%. The over 0.5 goals is 69% for Sheffield, 84% for Nottingham Forest. The over 1.5 goals for Sheffield is 33% and 57% for Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest, this game could go several ways. It could be Sheffield dragging them by the feet and not going alone to the championship, and that'd be funny to see. Or you could see a defeated Sheffield United that just allows Nottingham Forest to walk over them. Match 6, Manchester City's title run versus Arsenal continues, and they will be receiving Wolverhampton. Expected goals for City is 2.2 versus 0.8 for Wolverhampton, something that I could definitely see happening. The win probability for Manchester City is really high, 67%. They are the favorites versus Wolverhampton's 12%. And the over 0.5 goals for Manchester City is 86% versus 52% for Wolverhampton. The over 1.5 for the City squad is 62% versus 18% for Wolverhampton. It would be definitely interesting to see Haaland score more goals and continue to get another record in winning being the top goal scorer of this EPL league. Match 7, Brighton versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa just lost in the middle of the week against Olympiacos, a Brighton squad that has not been so attractive to watch, an Aston Villa squad that don't seem to be favorites in this one. Expected goals for Brighton is 1.6 versus Aston Villa's 1.5. Win probability is very even, with the slight edge given to Brighton, 39% for Brighton and 36% for Aston Villa. The over 0.5 goals for Brighton is 79%, and for Aston Villa it's 78%. Over 1.5 goals for Brighton is 47% and 45% for Aston Villa. This could be a big game for Aston Villa. They are in route to play Champions League next season, and if this game goes wrong for them, it could potentially jeopardize their Champions League involvement next season. Match 8, we have Chelsea at home, a really strong Chelsea squad at home that likes to fulfill the over 1.5 goals at home. Feel really comfortable there, versus a West Ham squad that is defensively strong and can score some goals as well. So this could be a both teams to score, as both teams have, they have passion and they play very aggressive. Expected goals for Chelsea is 2.8 versus West Ham's 1.6. Chelsea are the favorites to win at home with 56% versus 20% for West Ham. The over 0.5 goals for Chelsea is 87% and 73% for West Ham, letting us know that there's a possibility there, a high percent probability for both teams to score. The over 1.5 for Chelsea is so high, 70% versus 28% for West Ham. Match 9, Liverpool versus Tottenham, two teams that will continue to fight until the end. A Liverpool squad that has been really disappointing to see how they depart with their manager. I'm blanking out right now. What's his name? Jurgen Klopp. I'm sorry. Very hard way to end the season with announcing the coach before he's even gone, which seems very poor public relation. Some poor management there from the PR team. The debate during the sub of Salah and Jurgen Klopp, them losing the game last week just left a bad taste in the mouth. And Jurgen Klopp's interview was just it was respectful, but you can tell by his body language that there was just something wrong there. Liverpool expected goals 2.7 versus Tottenham's 1.1, a Tottenham squad that has been on the downwards trend. Win percentage for Liverpool is 65% and Tottenham is at 13%. The over 0.5 goals for Liverpool is 87% and 62% for Tottenham. Very likely to see Liverpool score here, and the over 1.5 is 69% versus 29% for Tottenham. Lastly, we have Crystal Palace hosting Manchester United. Could be a really good game as Crystal Palace has been scoring a lot more as of recently, and a Manchester United squad that needs to continue to put some pressure up on the table, and I can see this being both teams to score for sure. Crystal Palace expected goals 1.5 versus Manchester's 1.3. The win percentage for Crystal Palace is 41% versus 33% for Manchester United. The over 0.5 goals for Crystal Palace is 77% versus 72% for Manchester United, and the over 1.5 for Crystal Palace is 43% versus 37% for Manchester United. That wraps it up for all of these matches. Some of my favorite picks based on the simulator is definitely an over 1.5 goals between both of these teams, Luton Town and Everton. Both teams to score at Brentford versus Fulham. Chelsea over 1.5, and definitely I think winning the game. And Crystal Palace versus Manchester United, both teams to score. Sure, we transition over. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Let me know what you think about my picks. Let me know what you think about the simulator projections. Let me know in the comments below what bets you'll be placing, who's your favorite team, and who do you think will win the title. I strongly feel like Manchester City will win it, and as I mentioned in the last video, it should be an entertaining last match where both Arsenal and Manchester City are playing at the same time, and viewers will have to watch both teams play simultaneously. That would be great. Another one for the books. Have a great weekend. Drink some water. Hug your loved ones. Take a shot for me, and peace out.